leading the charge to make the 2024 Broker Carrier Summit possible, and we are so excited to have their support. In case you haven't heard, TAFS offers much more than freight factoring. It provides a comprehensive support system for trucking companies of all sizes, specializing in fast and efficient invoice factoring with the ability to pay carriers in as little as 1 hour. And TAFS services go well beyond factoring, offering a fuel card that unlocks major fuel discounts, flexible business loans that are designed to cater to the distinct needs of a carrier's operations, a dedicated, responsive client experience team, and much more. Black Box Logistics is a 3PL freight brokerage based out of Birmingham, Alabama. Black Box Logistics was formed in 2020 by 3 friends, Logan Dyer, William Graves, and Will Hopkins, in a basement office with the goal of bringing transparency around the clock communication and hassle-free customer experience to the table. LoadBase is a logistics software solution that simplifies the process of tracking carriers. Multi-service fuel card, the industry's first fuel card, was created by an over-the-road truck driver in 1978 to offer a safe, simple, and cost-effective way to handle fuel and trucking expenses. Initially, it addressed safety concerns of carrying cash on the road. Today, it combats advanced fraud with best-in-class technical and personal support. Sales-CRM is built for freight broker and agent sales teams. Manage your shipper prospecting and follow-ups. Organize your carriers in the lanes they run. HD Ships is a leading logistics provider specializing in sustainable and tech-driven freight solutions. With hubs in Reno, Phoenix, and London, we deliver comprehensive services, including full truckload, expedited cross-border, and intermodal freight. Leveraging proprietary technology, we offer 24/7 tracking, real-time visibility, and advanced automation to ensure safe, compliant, and efficient transportation. Our commitment to sustainability enables clients to offset emissions through carbon credits, aligning logistics with environmental goals. At HD Ships, we prioritize transparency, reliability, and exceptional customer service, empowering clients to achieve seamless, sustainable logistics solutions worldwide.
Happy Thursday.
Yeah, happy Thursday. How are you?
Not bad, not bad. It's decent weather. Week's flying by. Can't complain. How's everything in Birmingham?
It's good. Probably not as good as it is in Columbia. We've had some storms, but yeah, no, it's warming up. So we're looking forward to it.
I was about to ask, you're wearing like a long sleeve shirt, so it must be a little bit cold there.
Yeah, it's I don't know, man. The weather's been pretty rough. We lost power yesterday. Just some thunderstorms.
Oh, in the office, you guys lost power?
Yeah, I mean, it got back up pretty quickly, but yeah, lots of storms.
Oh, that would have been bad. I don't know how freight would have got moved. You stayed down. You got all gonna have to go to the coffee shop or something.
Yeah, no, it's always fun when the power goes out and then everybody tells me the power is out. Like I don't know, and we're not working on getting it back up. So yeah, it's always a lot of fun.
Well, shout out to our sponsors, Multi-Service Fuel Card. They've been around since a lot longer than Will and I have been alive. I think one of the longest fuel cards out there. Jessica, Patricia, fantastic. They have a card for brokers too. It's a great company. They get involved with the Broker Carrier Summit a lot. Black Box, Will's company, HG Ships, where I recruit agents for. Loadbase, we had Stan on the show about a month ago. Great tracking software. Will's demoed the product. Maybe Will wants to talk more on that, but
yeah, it's real-time visibility. So a lot of the tracking software out there pings on timed intervals. So Stan's product's cool because at any moment you can see a live update of where the driver is. Interface is also super clean. Reminds me of like an Apple product. So great product there. So if you're in the market for tracking or just want to explore options, they also support Mexican phone numbers. So it's a big plus as well.
Oh, I forgot that. That's pretty cool.
Yeah.
Sales-CRM. I feel like you guys are golfing. Josh is coming down there golfing once every couple months now.
Yeah, it was just the one time besides the opening. But yeah, no, that's Sales Dash is great. They've got some new stuff rolling out. Black Box uses it. We love it. It's freight centric, so it comes built out as you need it. You don't have to go in the back end and add a bunch of stuff. So no, we love it.
Yeah, we have some agents that use it too. Absolutely fantastic. And our banner sponsor, Taft's Top 10 Factoring Company, Kansas City based company. Rob, Ryan, I think they have people answering the phone until 12 o'clock. At night. Great customer service, great rates, just great people all around.
Yeah, they'll be at the Broker Carrier Summit as well. So if anybody tuned in will be up there, make sure to get in touch with them. Well, man, I'm pumped about this show. The first podcast that I actually ever went on was FreightCaviar. And we're kind of spread throughout the world today. You're in Colombia, I'm in the US, and then Paul's joining us from Poland.
Yeah, we've had a couple shows. Well, last week, what did we have? I was in Colombia. You were here, and then where was why am I blanking on this?
Reed, he was in Arizona.
No, maybe it was some time about the week before then. I'm thinking about the week before, probably.
I'm not sure. I'm blanking too.
Okay, I'm blanking too. That's the problem with doing the show. I got a Red Bull, but we never do shows at like 9 a.m. I think it's the first time, but obviously we're flexible. But yeah, I'm not quite up to speed awake yet.
We'll get you there. We'll go ahead and bring Paul on stage. Paul, thanks for joining us.
Thanks for having me. Looking forward to talking to you guys.
Yeah, 100%. So, man, most of our audience will likely know who you are, but you've got a really cool story. So will you kind of run us through that, the cliff notes, kind of how you got into logistics, your experience, and then kind of how you spun that off into FreightCaviar, and now, of course, you're involved in seems like you got a handful of companies, ShipperCRM, FreightCaviar. I'll let you take it from there.
Sure. Yeah. So basically, I was at U of I, University of Illinois, Urbana-Champaign, and I was doing a psychology bachelor's degree. And I was like, all right, like I want to do my master's, but at the same time, I don't want to take a bunch of student loans. And so I went to like the career fair, and I was walking around, and all of a sudden I bumped into my fraternity brother, Danny Bazelon, and he's like there at a booth with Truck Freight Services, and his father owns a brokerage, and he's like, Paul, you should come work for like my dad. And I had no idea what freight brokerage was back then, and I got an interview, and they gave me an offer, and I was like, this is the only offer I have. It's making $33K a year and paying, commission after 6 months. But I'm like, honestly, that sounds better than anything other opportunity I have. And so started working at Truck Freight Services. This was June of 2025. We had a great sales program. Shout out to Steve Schneider for running that training program. And he taught us very well on how to like be a carrier sales rep. And then I went into booking freight, and I quickly like grasped, I knew Polish growing up because I grew up in a Polish like American household. I spoke Polish at home, and like there's so many Polish trucking companies, especially in Chicagoland, and I was the only one that spoke Polish in the office. And all of a sudden, like all these Polish carriers were just calling me to book freight with me because that helps so much. Just builds honesty, and like you have that like cultural tie and everything. And I quickly started getting carriers in my name with that. And outside of Polish carriers, I also had a lot of trucking companies I worked with, and I liked it. It was something that was fun. I always got like this dopamine surge whenever you booked a load, so it was just a lot of fun. And but like honestly, like it didn't pay a lot after a year. Like I made $50K the first year. I felt like I should have probably been making more because I was booking a lot of freight, and I was like burnt out, to be honest. I had some like problems with carriers and consolidation and all this stuff, and so I was like, honestly, I'm going to leave the industry. I'm going to go travel the world, and I'm going to come back, and then I'll probably go do my master's in psychology. That was the whole plan. And so I quit Trek in exactly a year after starting, so June 2016. And my father, he worked for an airline, and I used to have like these like flying privileges for standby. And so I until the age of 24, and I was like 22 at the time. So I started just traveling around Europe, backpacking. I went to India, I went to Southeast Asia, all these places. And then I come home after 6 months, and I'm like absolutely broke. Like I have like literally $30 in my bank account. And I'm like, maybe right now it's not the best time to go do my master's. Like I need to make some money. Like my parents lived paycheck to paycheck. Like they didn't have money to give me. So I'm like, I'm on my own. Like I have to go make some money. So I reached out to my friend at CS Recruiting. She was there. She originally worked with me at Trek Freight. And she had told me previously, like, hey, call if you're looking for a job in logistics, hit me up. We could help you out. And so I hit her up. Her name's Arbella, and she got me 4 interviews in 1 week. I ended up getting 4 offers in 1 week. And then it was between Everest Transportation Systems and K&L Freight Management. And I was going to go with K&L Freight Management, but then basically like Everest gave me a better offer, and it was like a small little company, brokerage back then. Sorry for the background noise, by the way. I hope it's not too loud. And basically at that point, I chose Everest, and Everest was like literally 7 dudes in like a corner office, like in this like, I don't know, office center in Evanston. It was like really funny, no HR, all dudes. It was like a men's locker room essentially, like, and but it was like so much fun at the same time. And we were growing really fast. Like I was the first carrier sales rep, like outside of the owners who were they hired me to come help cover freight. Like the first few days was like, we had like 7 loads on the board, and like, we just kept getting more and more freight. And then in November, which was like 10 months later, they're like, Paul, do you want to move to Ukraine to open up our office in Ukraine? And I was like, yeah, like I'll move to Ukraine. Like I was all excited about it. Like my grandparents live in Poland, and so I used to come here every summer. Like I used to come here actually quite often, and I was like, it's right next door. Like I'll move to Ukraine. So in November 2017, I moved from my parents, and I moved to Ukraine, and my life changed overnight, because I went from living like in like a really small condo with my parents and like my siblings to like living like a king in Ukraine. It was like the biggest like life change in like overnight I've ever experienced in my life. And I ended up having like a super nice apartment in Kyiv, started making really good money and all this stuff, and at least relatively for like what I was making. And ended up spending 3 years in Ukraine. We grew the office. I was the only American there, and we built the office from 4 people to 100 in those 3 years. And then during the pandemic, I was just like kind of getting also burnt out. Just honestly, like it wasn't exciting anymore. And I'm like, you know what? Like I was like 27 at the time, and I was like, if I'm gonna take a risk, like a big risk right now in my life, it's probably the best time. I don't have a family. I just had broken up with my girlfriend then too, so I was like, all right, I'm gonna quit Everest. I'm gonna move to Poland. I'm gonna start my own brokerage. And so I ended up starting my own brokerage called Bang Bang Freight. And the reason why it was called Bang Bang Freight was because there was like the best customer sales rep at Everest. Every time you covered a load for him, he would always say bang bang every single time. So I ended up doing that for a few months, and I realized like I didn't actually enjoy booking freight or running a company. Like running a brokerage is so much different than being a carrier sales rep. And I hope you don't. Do you guys hear the background noise right now? There's a lady talking on the phone. I hope you don't hear that.
Just a little bit, but not much.
A
little bit. Okay. I do apologize. I'm in this coffee shop right now. And, so I ended up like just not liking it. Like I was like, owning a brokerage sucks. It really does suck. Like, okay, especially in the beginning, like you have no credits to where you're paying like 50% of pickup, 50% of delivery. It's like dealing with, finding shippers is difficult, all this stuff. And I'm like, I ended up spending all my time, instead of like booking freight or finding freight, was just making memes on Instagram. And that was a lot more fun for me. and I never expected to make any money off of it. I just was like, this is what I want to do right now. And that's why I did it. And it was originally called Shipping Pallets, and then I changed my name to FreightCaviar, and for some reason it worked. And it got some traction, and we ended up getting some sponsors. And then I'm like, okay, like it'd be cool to have a newsletter, because I read the newsletter, Morning Brew newsletter every day when I was at Everest. It was like the first newsletter I read, like just to kind of get an insight into like what's going on in the market and all that stuff. And I'm like, it'd be cool to do that for freight. So we did that, and then we expanded to podcasts, and now like we're expanding. We just launched a FreightCaviar forum, and I partnered with my co-founder in September of 2022 for ShipperCRM. So things just started working out, and I haven't been a freight broker. I haven't brokered a load in a few years. Besides that bicycle one I did a couple days ago with my bike from Michigan. But aside from that, I just been working at FreightCaviar, and it's been fun. It's been a lot of fun, and it's been life changing. So I guess that's like a long clip notes, but that's the story.
How was the feedback, and how was it like when your FreightCaviar first started, and doing memes? Was it was everyone all positive about it at the time, or was it like, because I was in probably a different time when social media is pretty normalized, I think, in freight, but I imagine back then it was a little bit different. Were there some challenges there kind of at the beginning?
You know what? It's funny because like I started only on Instagram, so I wasn't even on LinkedIn then. It was only Instagram. This was October 2020, and I had just quit Everest. I was still living in Ukraine. I had like a month until I moved to Poland, and I basically like, okay, so my bio said number one Landstar double broker in Ukraine was my bio on Instagram. And I was like saying my name is Boris and all this stuff. And I started just making fun of Landstar, like a lot of times. Like a lot of the memes were just ripping on Landstar. And then I wake up in January, 3 months later, with like, I had 3,500 followers on Instagram at that point. And I get an email from Instagram saying that your account has been deleted because Landstar, like corporate, reported you to us. And I woke up to my account being deleted with 3,500 followers. And I had to talk to Jeffrey, the lawyer from Landstar, and I basically promised him I'm never going to make fun of Landstar again if he just unblocked my account, because it was a terrible day for me. And so that was kind of one of the hurdles in the beginning. And then we didn't get into LinkedIn until like August of 2021. So that was like almost a year after I started the page on Instagram. So that was one of, like, I guess, one of those hurdles I had to go through.
Have you made fun of Landstar since? Have you kept your word on that?
I haven't. Like, I mean, so making fun, I guess, like, I maybe like poked at them a little bit, but I wasn't calling myself a double broker that works for them, like, which I think that was like the biggest problem they had. It's like with it all. So, and I probably shouldn't be saying this on my like channel right now, but at the same time, like, it's just the honest truth. That's what happened. And,
have you had that happen with any other companies? Like, obviously, you publish news stories now about different things happening in freight. You're obviously making memes about other companies. Has anything like that happened since, like, ever got a cease and desist from a brokerage, or saying like, hey, you need to not, like, how common is that, I guess, in kind of like what you're doing?
I've gotten a decent amount of cease and desist letters. I maybe like decent amount, I don't know, like 3 or 4. And it was just basically like, like, remove this, like, and like I know one of them was from Fox Freight, because like we kind of like, I guess, like, wrote negatively about their financial situation, which is like reported on from like a situation that a factoring company like stopped working with them. And so they sent us cease and desist, and I think that was the right thing to do, because like we learned a lot from just situations where it's like we can't be posting stuff without like verifying like a lot of it. We can't just take someone's IG message and be like, yo, this is news or this is a fact. Like, we got to be cross verifying, and that's kind of the things that you learn, because like I never went to like I never got a journalistic degree, so like like now with FreightCaviar having a newsletter and having articles, like there are obviously ethics of journalism that I don't know about, that I've learned, that it's like, okay, like in order to like this actually be a story that we could post, like we should have like references, we should verify these points. So like there was a few stories besides that we had some problems with, and I think right now we're at a point where like we've kind of understood and learned like what we could do and we can't do. So like we've been more conservative in the sense of like what we publish now, just making sure that we verify stuff.
That's pretty neat though, because I don't know, looking at it from an outside perspective, it's almost like the hurdles, right? Like a cease and desist letter is almost an indicator that you've kind of like reached this level of like outreach, right? So just starting, it's like shipping pallets, like shit posting memes, maybe. And then it gets to this level where like you're reporting stuff, and then like you have these companies like taking the time to get large, like cease and desist. It's like, oh damn, like we've like really turned this into like a legit operation, right? Which is it's really neat to hear you talk about and say like, yeah, I enjoyed making memes, and then to see it come full circle, and now it's kind of like a, I mean, I don't know, like combining entertainment with news. And it's like, yeah, pretty much everybody knows FreightCaviar in the industry now.
Yeah, I mean, it's been fun. It's been cool, and like, I'm gonna just go outside so the music's not.
Very good.
So
mobile.
Yeah, I mean, it's been cool. But it's taken time at this, because it's been almost 5 years since we started, and like it wasn't overnight. And one of the things that I've learned is that like everything takes time. Like whatever you're gonna be working on, and as long as you're persistent, like it's gonna work out. That's like one of the key takeaways I've had in life. Is my connection worse now, guys? I'm so sorry.
I don't know if it's my connection in Colombia or if it's yours, but it's lagging a little bit, like freezing on my screen. But that could be me in Colombia.
All right. Sorry about that.
No, you're good.
It's better now, at least on my end.
Yeah, it's good. The background noise isn't bad, at least for us. What's coming through over there, but no, that's very cool seeing it all come full circle. Yeah,
it's interesting you kind of brought that point up about it, taking time. I think I forget who it was on Twitter, it posted right after TIA, the biggest thing on, people were asking is how to get more engagement on whether they're marketing for their company or whatever they're doing. And I think you brought up a big thing. A lot of those things, take time, especially now. I mean, in the future with like AI and so many things of not knowing what's human, created. So yeah, I mean, I think that's a great point.
Yeah, I mean, persistence and patience. It's like I would say the two virtues you need to build something successfully. Nothing's overnight. Yeah.
Also, correct me if I'm wrong, but it seems like I don't know, being different. It's almost like you pioneered the like the memes into like news, right? Like that's I don't know. At the time, it was probably not being done a lot, and then now it's like there's memes everywhere. But even like for sales and stuff, memes kind of they hit rather than like this cookie cutter like copy, scripted news. It's like kind of like it's not entertaining, right? Like it might be information, but if it's not, I don't know, combining those two, like the intersection, I think was kind of like a sweet spot.
Yeah, and I mean, I got to give credit to like Morning Brew, because Morning Brew is something that we look up, or a company we look up to a lot in terms of like they've kind of like created that, I guess, type of like news content where it's also like memeable. And besides that, like when it comes to like freight memes, like the OGs was like detention denied and I hate freight. Like those are the guys that we followed at our office in Everest like all day long when it comes to freight broker memes. So also shout out to them. And I feel like they could have probably done this a few years earlier than I did, and probably would have taken like a lot of the market share. So also really grateful for them not doing that and allowing us to kind of do that instead.
Well, how do you manage your time now with, I mean, obviously we talked about kind of how you've grown and now you're in ShipperCRM, you're at different conferences, you got 2 or 3 different businesses. I'm sure you're getting a million DMs a day of people asking, either news stories or memes. Like, how do you manage your time so you're like not going insane? Like, do you think you're working more hours now than you were as a carrier sales rep, or what's just kind of, how's your time management work? I'm just curious.
Sure. Yeah. My time management thing is like all over the place. Like today, like for example, like I woke up, I have like this mind and body coach. So I had a meeting with them for an hour, and then I had to drive to like Lublin where my grandma lives, which is like a 2-hour drive. I had to get my tires changed. And then like, because of the jet lag, I literally like couldn't like stay awake. I had to take a nap for like an hour and a half. I woke up, I ate like lunch, and I came to this coffee shop, and I had a meeting with their team, and then I have this call now. And in between those, I also had a couple meetings with my team too, and like we got the newsletter put together. Luckily, I do have a team who's been very, very like helpful and like kind of like taking on tasks and doing a lot of stuff. When it comes to like time management, my schedule, like I wish I had more of a routine, but it seems like every day is just different. And I don't think I work more nowadays than I did back then. But at the same time, I feel like a lot of stuff that I do doesn't feel like work. Like I try to just to kind of like do things that I like, but I also like procrastinate on a lot of things I should be doing. Like my inbox is full of emails I should probably be like reading right now, or at least replying to. So I don't know. I have a lot of problems with concentration on stuff I don't like ADHD, like all that, like very, like I'm all over the place all the time. And there's obviously, it's helped me like from like the creative kind of side of things when it comes to content. It's pretty helpful. But when it comes to like organizationally, like internal stuff, there's been times like where like I should be more on top of things for sure. But I know it's a work in progress. That's one. But yeah, definitely my team's been very helpful. When it comes to like FreightCaviar and ShipperCRM, like my co-founder Christian, he spends most of his time working on ShipperCRM, and then I do most of my time spending on FreightCaviar. So we kind of just like, I help a little bit on ShipperCRM. He helps a little bit on FreightCaviar. But that's kind of how we split responsibilities when it comes to that. So yeah, I mean, but overall, like I don't know, like what I really like about my schedule nowadays is the fact that like I kind of like do whatever I feel like doing, and I'm not very organized when it comes to like a routine. I should probably, because it would help me a lot in many ways. At the same time, I kind of just enjoy like yesterday I got my bike put together, and I ended up taking some meetings at the park, and I ended up biking for the rest of the day, and it was awesome. It was an amazing day. So I don't know. I guess like life is so short, and that's kind of like what I've been reading this book right now, like 4,000 Weeks, like time management for mortals. And it's like there's all these books about time management and like how to make the most use of your time. But at the same time, like we're all gonna be dead very, very soon. Like 80 years like is 4,000 weeks. And the last 4 weeks of my life have been like a blur. I don't even know how they flew by. And that's like, out of 4,000 weeks, it just seems like life's so short. It's like, I don't want to do stuff I don't want to do. And I know there's going to be some gurus out there that like, you got to like do all like the hard things. And you may be right. But at the same time, like for me, I'm like, I don't know. Life's been fun living kind of spontaneously and just kind of like going with the flow of things and not forcing things. So
I think that's so true. I mean, I agree with you. I can relate to a lot of the vast majority of what you said. And I think there's a lot of people more like us with that mindset who, just kind of, I also struggle with things I don't really want to do and I probably should do. And sometimes organization, and things like that. But as you said, I mean, it brings out creativity too. So yeah, I think there's a lot of people that are probably like the, guru mindset. You need like a special routine, this, and this. But I think there's a lot of like free-spirited people too, who kind of view it similarly to how you and I view it too. I think there's a good mix of both, which I think is needed. So I don't know what Will's thoughts are. But
sure. I'm gonna check out that book. No, I think there's a lot of power in that freedom, what you're talking about, right? Like just doing what you want, like finding a way. It seems like you've built a life that like you enjoy living, right? And I think a lot of people get caught in not able to do that, right? So I think that's a beautiful thing. And yeah, I wish I was more like you guys, where it's kind of like go with the flow. I am pretty like structured and routine, and it's good and it's bad. I mean, I think there's pros and cons to both, but I do wish I had a little bit more of that in me that you guys are describing. So no, I think it's a cool concept.
Yeah, and I think if you're an owner of a brokerage, it's like almost impossible to live the lifestyle I live, because like there's so many urgent tasks that need to get done ASAP. Otherwise, your customer's going to get upset with you, and you're probably, not going to move the load. And that's one of the reasons why, like, I was like, I can't be in brokerage anymore, because it's like this is just it caused a lot of stress for me, and it just like it was fun. I like booking freight, but there's also a lot of that stress. And I feel like if you do have a brokerage, you have to have a structure in your team. It's just so difficult.
Yeah, like a newer concept I've been exploring is like the true cost of things, like taking away monetary value and then considering it in terms of like what you're describing, like stress, time, life, like the true cost of like, okay, like if I want this thing or like this brokerage, but like the true trade-off, the sacrifice to get like end goal, not just like what you would consider like whatever, like the true cost, like the time. And then you really at the end of your life, you're going to look back, most of us probably, and like time's can be the most valuable commodity, right? Like at the end of your life, if you have all this money, you can't trade that money for more life. So if you were to go ask like Warren Buffett or somebody like, hey, would you give away, 50% of this to be, 26 again? Like you probably would do it in a heartbeat, but then for whatever reason, maybe I think it's big in the US, maybe like this culture, like this hustle culture. And it's like so hyper focused on these like materialistic things. And man, like I'm like real bad about it. Like I want this stuff. So then like I truly sacrifice, but then I take a step back and like really reflect on it. It's like, man, is it worth it? And I go back and forth. So it's like, it's one of those things I think everybody should like really like think about and consider. And like, I don't have all the answers, but it's a cool thing to explore.
For sure. And honestly, something that's been very helpful for me this year is like meditation. I started doing meditation beginning of this year with my mind and body coach. And like, it's been kind of an unlock of like deeper thoughts and like just kind of like a lot of insights from me. Literally a guy cutting grass right here. And I hope you guys hear this.
Barely. It's like, it's
all good.
Okay, good. And like for me, it's like I realized like, okay, like right now I don't have kids. I'll probably have kids like in a really like decently soon time frame. But like right now, like I'm like, what really makes me happy and satisfied in life is like a free schedule, meditation, like working out, reading, like eating healthy foods. And I'm like thinking like about this like material wealth, like obviously like it's nice to have material wealth because it helps you like in like, it helps you in many ways, like not have to like be so stressed out. But at the same time, like if I were to be broke right now, if I just say, for example, I lost everything, I know for a fact I'd still be very happy because like life is the biggest gift you could ever receive. And like, I will figure things out. And honestly, like sometimes I'm like, damn, like even if I lost everything right now, it might be like a cool experience to kind of like see how I'd rebuild myself. And I am not afraid of losing everything. And I think taking a risk is super important. And the reason I'm here right now in my life is because I took a risk. And I would say like, I've learned that like taking a risk is like, if you're capable of taking a risk, like huge unlock in life, because especially if you know what you want to do with it.
So there's a lot of studies about like, so happiness, like in correlation to money. So like past the base needs, right? So like if you have enough money for like shelter, food, like all this normal stuff, like the amount of money you make, like in correlation to your happiness it's like it really doesn't, like the money in compared to how much your happiness will go up is very, very small. Cause like most people, if you ask them, no matter what they're making, it's always going to be more. And like, if you're in that mindset of like more, it's never enough. Right. So I don't know. I like that you have like a mind and body coach and like exploring some of that stuff. It's pretty interesting, but no, yeah, I think that's a pretty like common theme for like the human condition is more, right. So like the freedom to like, yeah, if I lost everything, like I'd still be like happy. It'd be a cool story. The framing and perspective is very powerful.
Exactly. And just like thinking about like the fact that we're here right now talking, we're alive, like that's free, and I mean, besides the internet connections and all that, but like that's still, I still have that even if I lost all my money, like I could still talk to you guys and I could still, like go on a walk. I could still like eat an apple. Like I have my bike now, so I can go biking. Like I think like honestly, the best things in life are free. Like I 100% believe in that.
Hey, we got a comment. It's this might be on your page, Matt, because it says LinkedIn user, but I say, Paul, can you run us through your meditation routine?
Yeah. So I just I do the meditation with my mind and body coach, who kind of teaches it to me. And then like for the last few months, I've been just kind of listening to the recordings. I do it in the morning. and it's been like progressively getting like longer in the sense of like how long we do it for. And right now, like we're around at 30 minutes, and he just told me today that like I could just start doing it by myself, where I don't have to listen to his audio. But it's basically just like there's two types of meditation that we do. We do one that is like breathing through the nose, like focusing on your breath, and try to be as much as focused on that. And that's actually been very helpful for like my ADHD, where like I realize I'm like a lot more focused afterwards. So that's been a great unlock. And then the second type of meditation is called scanning of the body, where you start from the feet and you go to the head, and you kind of like sense every part of your body. And you know, like those like photos or like emojis of like having this kind of glow when like you're meditating, like you're kind of like yeah, like I feel that sometimes after doing a scanning of my body, you just feel everything like awake, like and alive. It's like it's really a powerful feeling. And so that there's like the two types of meditation, and I do it every day in the morning. Usually like first thing in the morning, I wake up, drink some water. I've been, dude, okay, this is random, but like I started doing this a couple weeks ago, and I highly recommend it. Okay, take like a liter of water, just one of those big bottles, squeeze like a bunch of lemon in it, and then pour some maple syrup, like real good maple syrup from like Whole Foods. Dude, it's like the best thing in the world. Cleans out your whole body. Like you just go to the bathroom afterwards and just cleans everything out. So delicious. And I've been doing that every day. And then afterwards I do the meditation, and then I get on with my day. So yeah,
that's a cool combination. I never would have thought of maple syrup, water, and lemons.
It's the best lemonade you'll ever drink in your life. At least in my opinion, it's the best. It's like the healthiest too. So it's really, really good.
I have to check it out. Yeah. So with the meditation, just kind of like diving kind of like deeper into this. So what do you feel like, cause I don't know, I've dabbled in meditation, but what do you think are like the main benefits you get from that? Like, do you, I don't know, I guess the way I see it, a lot of people are kind of like on autopilot. So we were talking about like this body scan, this meditation in the morning, like being aware of, I don't know what it's done for me. Like when I have done it, I'm not doing a whole bunch of it right now, just like awareness of like why I'm doing what I do. And like giving me that kind of perspective. What are kind of like the best, benefits you get from it, or yeah, can you touch on that?
That's a great question. And I would have to say, like, for the first few weeks of doing it, I didn't really understand it, or I guess I didn't see the benefits of it. And I felt like it took me a while to kind of like realize like, wow, I should definitely be doing this every day, and I should be doing this for even longer. And someone that I look up to a lot is Naval Ravikant, and he's like a Silicon Valley investor. He writes a lot on Twitter. He had a really good episode on Modern Wisdom podcast a couple of weeks ago, which I highly recommend everyone to check out. But he talks a lot about meditation. And for me, meditation, it kind of just like clears out or cleans out your brain. It's like, I feel like every day, like we have so much like information flowing through our brain, and there's so many tasks to do where like we just feel overwhelmed. And I feel like it makes you just kind of like peaceful and calm at the same time, realize that like we will never be on top of everything, you know, like, and people like, I think constantly chase this feeling that like they need to be on top of everything. But in reality, it's like, you're not going to be on top of everything, no matter what you do, because there's always going to be something to do. And it's like this realization that like, hey, like life is still moving forward. Each day is passing, and it's like, just enjoy it, you know, be grateful for it, love it. And I think, well, besides that, it's giving me a lot of good ideas inside of the business and personally, where like I have a lot more empathy towards people, and it just like, it's got me a lot more connected with myself spiritually. And that means like I can understand other people better. Like it makes me want to spend, like, at least that from the ideas that I have, like it makes me want to spend a lot more time with my family. It makes me want to be more present, more focused, because I used to just be like constantly in my mind thinking about the next thing I got to do. Whereas now it's like, yo, just take it easy. Like life will work out. You know, like our lives right now, like we live better than kings did like a century ago. And I don't think people like appreciate that enough. Like literally we live amazing lives, but like, I think like us as humans, like always just want more. And sometimes like, I think like we have to realize like, you know, we already have so much, like and like, instead of being focused on like how to make more money, maybe we should be focused on like how to do more for others. Like, you know, that doesn't like, you know, like I love helping my grandma. Like I come visit her every week. I spend some time with her. Like, and like that for me feels so much better than making money. And so I guess like these kind of realizations in my mind, like where it's like less money focused, materialistic focus, and more just like kind of be like grateful, mindful, and like present in the moment.
That yeah, I mean that goes along with like with how we got here. You kind of started with that book like 4,000 weeks. Like okay, we talk about quantity, but then going deeper is the quality of those 4,000 weeks. So like practicing that kind of stuff, get the most out of it. Sounds like the mindfulness allows you to enjoy the present. Maybe lots of people are thinking about the future, maybe the past, and like not really where their feet are, getting the most out of it. Doing those things that you're talking about, helping out your grandmother, building those relationships, things that really feed into life. So no, that's great. And then even we live better than kings did. There's a Seneca quote I really like, and it's we suffer more in imagination than in reality. So kind of like going off of that, it's like the frame. Like in any situation, it's like, are you looking at the good or the bad, or like the reality of the situation? So no, that's really good stuff. I like how we got here, man. Bring on Paul, FreightCaviar. Now we're talking about meditation and philosophy.
Yeah, I had this idea of like starting like a freight event where like we all just like go meditate, and then like we sip on tea like in a Japanese tea room, and we all just like connect that way, because like I feel like we need that, like as like at least that's what I want to do. It's actually one of my ideas where I'm like, we got to get all connected and like come in a room, meditate, connect with each other, drink some green tea like or matcha the Japanese way, and like just connect with others outside of like the Western way of just like drinking alcohol. So
maybe a conference idea for next big conference.
Yeah, that might be if FreightCaviar ever does like an event like or a conference. I think that's gonna be part of it.
Well, yeah, I mean, have you guys ever dabbled with the idea of doing a conference?
Yeah, so like right now, just to like give you some ideas of where I'm at, like what excites me. So like here's the thing, like we're finally at a place right now where it's like, okay, like we have some, like I guess consistency or some kind of like we've built up to like a form of security in the sense of the company where like we're established, like we have sponsors like that are committed and all this stuff, and right now like I've come to this other phase, and this is also via meditation, like what I want to do next. One of them is like this focus on like documentaries. I want to do a lot of FreightCaviar documentaries. We were in Mexico 2 weeks ago in Guadalajara, and that's going to be coming out in a month. And so I'm really excited about that. I was actually thinking about potentially driving to Ukraine tomorrow because I'm like an hour from the border, and I have a friend who's like right across from me in Lviv, and like there's a lot of freight brokers, like people outsource there, and like I was thinking about maybe just going there for a day tomorrow and filming some content. Don't know if it's going to happen yet, but aside from that, like there's a lot of like FreightCaviar documentaries that I want to put out. That's what really excites me. Like honestly, like if I start thinking about like what I want to do, because like if you look at a newsletter, you look at a podcast, like okay, a podcast, the shelf life of a podcast could be much longer than a newsletter in the sense of like, okay, this could be relevant. Someone could listen to this conversation in 5 years and still benefit from it. With a newsletter, probably going to get stale within a couple of days. Like, it's content that, it's news that, there's constantly more and more news out there. Whereas a documentary for me, like, I'm like, damn, like I'm going to be like 80 years old and I'm going to be like watching this and I think I'm going to love it. And I want to document more things via video. So one thing that really, really excites me is definitely doing more FreightCaviar documentaries. And then the next stage, I think we want to start dabbling in some kind of conference stuff. I don't know yet exactly how that's going to look like or when it's going to be, but it's definitely something in the back of my mind. And it might involve some of those like, unique stuff that I'm talking about. Like, we might have like a Japanese tea room for connecting with people, or a meditation session or something like that, where I think it would definitely be different. It wouldn't be like the regular conference that you go to and like this network. It'd be more unique than that.
Yeah, well, keep us posted if you do, and I would definitely go. Got another comment. They're showing up as LinkedIn users. This is a good place for me to shamelessly plug myself. I released a book, so somebody just ordered it. If you're interested, it's a link in my bio. No, I think that'd be really, really neat. I think that the freight industry as a whole could really benefit for something like that. Everybody's so wound so tight, man. It's tough. Just logistics in nature. Talking about like going along the lines with meditation, right? Like the control and just being like worked up. A lot of things are just like, I don't know, take them as they come, right? So I think that it's definitely a stressful job for anybody that's in the trenches operations, and trucks gone rogue, dealing with everything that comes with it.
100%. So I guess kind of, as we wrap up, Paul, I mean, what are some what's kind of the future? You got any other besides the conference aspect? You guys, I think I saw a post a while back. You guys have like kind of some big things, in the works, or some big risk you may be taking, coming up soon.
Yeah, I mean, in terms of like the risk stuff, like I think the risks excite me more nowadays because of the realization that we're all going to be dead real soon. It's like, am I going to regret taking like a risk when I'm 80 years old? Like at the end of the day, like the basic stuff that we need to live, like that's going to be readily available, and that's like easy to come by. Like, and I think even Seneca like says that. Like, I forgot the quote, but it's like basically like even back then, like 2,000 years ago or whatever, when Seneca was alive, like to become homeless, for example, like that's like a pretty difficult task, and it typically like means that you're probably like an alcoholic or a drug addict or something like that. But like if you're just like if you don't have a problem, like we say like an addiction problem, like you're gonna have food on the table, you're gonna have a bed. It's like, why not make the most of it and do something cool with like the time that you have on this planet? And so with the risks, like I think that's more associated with like maybe like investing some of the money more into like right now we started working with like this video agency that is a lot more expensive than what I was used to paying, but at the same time, like I know that they bring quality, and so like that's kind of like a risk that I'm willing to put money there so that like the quality of the product increases. And also like when it comes to hiring, like right now we're kind of like trying to figure out what's like the next addition to our team that we need to like kind of crush it. So I think that's just like, I used to be really, I mean, I am still frugal in the sense of like I don't like spending money, but at the same time, like I want to see where can I invest the money into FreightCaviar that will like yield higher quality product and then more revenue. So that's kind of like some of the risks associated with that, and we have some other stuff that we're working on that I can't really discuss right now. But I guess that's part of it. What was the first part of the question, Matt? Aside from the risks.
That was the main part. It got kind of like the future besides conferences and kind of referencing the post. I think you kind of like answered both questions kind of at once. So that was cool to hear.
Sure. Yeah. I'm just excited. I think there's a lot of stuff that could be done. And what honestly, like, I think what I'm also realizing a lot, like nowadays, like, I mean, competition exists. And I mean, with FreightCaviar, I guess like from the newsletter podcast side and like the documentary side, like there are obviously like we have like, I wouldn't even call them competition. Like nowadays, like I think like this industry, maybe I'm like, I don't know, maybe I'm thinking in the wrong way, but like I think that there is a way for us all to like work together for this industry to be better. Like, and I am naive, but I think like there's a lot of room for partnerships in this industry and a lot of room for like dialogue. Yeah, and I don't know where I'm trying to get to with this, but I'm a lot more empathetic nowadays, and I like talking to people. I like hearing their stories. And congrats to you, Will, on the release of your book.
Thank you.
It's awesome to see, and that must have been difficult to get out. I mean, I know like writing wise and stuff like that, but that's awesome. And I think that that's awesome. And I think like we got to just be more supportive of each other. Like we're here for a short time. Let's work together. Let's see how we could first of all like do cool stuff and then improve the industry. So
awesome. Yeah, no, I love that concept, building value versus claiming value, making the pie bigger. So no, that's great stuff. Well, man, it's been a blast. We touched on all kinds of topics. And no, I mean, I really enjoyed it. We appreciate you taking the time out of your day to come join us on the pod, and we'll be tuned in to everything that you guys are working on, and we're big fans of your work.
Thank you guys for having me. I appreciate it. And so apologies for like some of the background noise here. I thought it was gonna be a lot quieter here, and just chilling at this coffee shop here in Poland. It's a nice day outside when doors open. So thanks for having me. I enjoyed it a lot. And yeah.
Thanks again, Paul. And we'll talk soon. We'll have you on. We'll have you back soon, I'm sure.
All right, take care.
That was fun.
Yeah.
It was a good. We did talk. We like kind of switched the subject away from like a lot of freight things, but I thought it was cool. Like we kind of talk about meditation, hearing the water, maple syrup, lemonade combo. I'm holding you to that, by the way. You said you're going to try that, so next week.
Whoa! No, I said I was gonna get that book. I'll look into the water lemonade maple syrup.
I thought I heard that you maybe I'll have to replay the episode. I thought I heard you say I'll look into it or I'll have to give that a shot.
Maybe I did.
Maybe live on the show next week. You can try it out.
Yeah, I'll give it a try. I'm open minded. I'll try just about anything twice. We got another comment here for an event like this. So, yeah, Paul, if you're still listening, FreightCaviar decides to do an event with some tea, we've got a supporter here for you. I really enjoyed that one. It's nice to kind of get away from I don't know, sometimes like in between the lines, just like straight freight and logistics, and kind of like hear the insight that Paul or somebody like that has, and their philosophy on life, and how they go about doing things kind of below the surface. So I really enjoyed this episode.
100%. Well, shout out again to our sponsors, Multi-Service Fuel Card, been around since 1978. A lot of association with BCS right now. We've had some of their drivers on who use their fuel card. Jamie, for example, loves it. Black Box Logistics, Will's company, HD Ships, where I recruit agents for. Loadbase, we had them on the show about a month ago. Will's demoed their product. Great, great. You can use it with Mexico carriers, as Will said. Go hit up Stan on LinkedIn. Go check out their website, loadbase.com. Sales-CRM, freight specific CRM. We have some agents that use it. Will's company uses it. And TAF's top 10 factoring company. Ryan and Rob will be in Kansas City. Definitely go talk to them. Great guys, great rates, great customer service. And we'll be back sometime next week. I highly doubt. What?
I was going to say, and HD Ships. If you're looking to be an agent, get in touch with Matt.
I missed that part. I didn't say that.
No, you missed it. But yeah, we'll be back tomorrow, Dog of the Week. And then we'll have another episode next week. So, yeah, well, enjoy Columbia, Matt. I'm sure I'll be talking to you later.
All right, sounds good. Talk to you soon.
See ya.